So the number one question after UFC 306 is, of course, what's next for Merab Dvalishvili? You know, this guy absolutely dominated one of the best strikers in recent years, and really just embarrassed him. I mean, like, he took him apart mentally. Same thing he did to his fucking coach. Like, really just dismantled a very self-confident and rising star in the UFC. So what's next for him? You know, I feel like everybody and their mama has pointed at Umar Nurmagomedov to be the next up, relative of the very famous UFC legend Khabib Nurmagomedov. What do I think about, you know, Umar being next up from Merab? I don't hate it. I, for one, definitely feel like Figgy should get the next title shot. I understand that Umar has done work and that, you know, given his record and who he's related to, you know, he should get the next matchup. And he's got all these Dagestani, you know, fighting style fans backing him up, posting highlights and edits and all this shit. I get it. You know, he is even doing the most to get the matchup, which he should. You know, as any fighter should. They should really try to boost themselves in the public eye and, you know, get their name out there and scream for a title shot. I've said it for many fighters. I said that that's what many fighters should do, is scream and kick and punch for a title shot, especially to Dana. But yeah, I feel like Figgy deserves it more. And I'm making that decision based off of legacies. I'm making that decision based off of records as well, because as much as we say Umar's got the record of bantamweight, you know, he's doing so well, he's beating all these people, he's definitely up next for Merab, right? I think the same thing, like Figgy has the same case. He's a flyweight legend. He's done so much of flyweight, and he's doing even more stuff at bantamweight. We're talking about the guy that fucking choked out Cody Garbrandt, who was looking like Floyd Mayweather moving into that fight. Cody was very fast, had worked boxing most of his camp, looked really amazing, light on his feet, amazing with the striking, and Figgy just took him down and submitted him like it was nothing. Then what did Figgy do next? Figgy fought fucking Cheeto Vera. Cheeto, Iron Chin Cheeto, who doesn't get knocked down, who fought Sean O'Malley for 5 rounds and got beaten up because he was quite literally a human punching bag in that fight and got kneed straight up in the chin and was still standing. Figgy hit what, like a jab or a cross, something straight down the line and square in the face of Cheeto that knocked Cheeto on his ass. Davison Figueiredo did that. He's up next. Everything is done at flyweight. We're talking about a flyweight champ, a flyweight legend, to move up in another division, in a higher division in weight, and whoop ass in that division. He went from a lighter division to one with heavier, bigger guys and whooped ass. He deserves the next shot against Merab. And Merab is welcoming it. You know, I get that there could be a multitude of reasons why, you know, especially given how dangerous Umar is, because he is dangerous. I'm not saying this Umar guy is not dangerous. He's a relative of Khabib. He's lived in Dagestan. He's a scholar of the Dagestani fighting methods, and he's got Khabib in his corner. So of course he is a full threat, and I am a full-time believer in the Khabib method. I'm a full-time believer in, you know, pupils of Khabib Nurmagomedov who know how to ground and pound really well, who know how to shoot for takedowns really well, who know how to make fights, you know, semi-boring and then take the back and then, you know, have like such a strong squeeze on their opponent that they can even get near a submission and still end up submitting their opponent. That's how dangerous Umar Nurmagomedov is. And that's how dangerous I believe he will be if he is going to get this fight against Merab, which I feel like is going to happen, given what the mainstream MMA media has been saying, how Dana White has been reacting, what's being talked about. I feel like there's a good chance Umar is going to get the next title shot. I feel like Figgy deserves it, but, you know, while Figgy deserves it, Umar's being much more talked about. So I feel like Umar is going to get that title shot. So that being said, let me just really quickly go over the fight for you guys, tell you guys what I think is going to happen and how I think the fight's going to go. Yeah, so Umar's dangerous. And the minute I saw, that the UFC wanted Merab to call Umar out, but the UFC did have a lot of shots, like camera shots on Umar as soon as Merab won. The minute I saw that, my mind went to how this fight would go, and I immediately thought that Umar was going to win. And that's just because of how big of a believer I am in the Khabib fighting style and the Khabib method, which I just laid out for you. Really hard ground and pound, tight squeeze, Dagestani handcuffs, really staying strapped to your opponent, going for the back, setting hooks against the cage in the clinch, and semi-good striking, But the striking component is increasing because you see how great Islam Makhachev is getting. But yeah, Umar is dangerous. And I feel like the key to this fight and how this fight is going to end up is it all depends on the fitness of Umar Nurmagomedov. That's what I feel like this fight is going to depend on. And right now, if I'm to be totally honest with you guys, I think Merab is going to win this fight. I'm going with Merab. I'm going to go with Merab because Merab's cardio is unlike any fighter's cardio I've ever seen before. And we're talking about the cardio all-time greats like DC. Nonstop, pressure, not really gassing out. Merab is tippity fucking top. This guy never runs out of energy. And even in the 5th round after a straight up war, he's still fucking bouncing around, moving around, and just circling his opponent. Same shit he did to Sean O'Malley. Absolutely embarrassed Sean O'Malley. He still got Sean O'Malley hysterical. Sean O'Malley is still on Twitter, Instagram, all his social media apps, talking about how he won rounds 1, 3, and 5 and all this other bullshit. He made a solid, bona fide UFC champion and rising star into a crazy, insane hermit. That's what Merab Dvalishvili did. So I'm going to go with Merab. I think this fight is totally dependent upon the fitness of Umar Nurmagomedov because while the Khabib style is unbeaten and very, 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 very lethal, you still have to have a fit guy in there if you're going against an opponent with some of the greatest cardio ever seen. Because that's Merab for you. He'll stay light on the feet. He can circle fucking Umar, who's got pretty good striking. Umar Nurmagomedov has pretty good striking. He could circle Umar. He could stay on his feet, evade the striking range of Umar, and at the same time, go for takedowns. And Umar can go for takedowns too, believe you me. But I feel like Umar's got to be fit. Because if Umar's not fit enough, come rounds 4 and 5, Merab will still be bouncing around, and he'll have plenty of time to go for takedown after takedown after takedown. And even if you are Dagestani, full-blood Dagestani, been shooting double legs and single legs since you were 2 years old, Merab can still outwork you. And this guy looks like he can just about outwork anyone. So I'm going to go with Merab. And if this fight does get announced, I will give you guys a second more in-depth breakdown. But for now, my money's on Merab. Let me know what you motherfuckers think. I think this fight will happen over the Deiveson-Figueiredo fight, even though I do wish that Deiveson-Figueiredo would get this next title shot. I think it's going to go to Umar. Let me know what you motherfuckers think. Love y'all.